All right, we're trying Josh Pate again. Hey, buddy.
I think I heard most of that conversation. Go all time. Just go back 50 years, whatever. Go back in the color TV era, all of A&M's road games. I know that since it's so recent, if they go win Saturday, people are really hesitant to say, oh, this is one of the biggest wins in the history of this program on the road. But if we're trying to establish a new culture under a second-year head coach, if we're trying to announce our arrival on the national stage, if we're trying to establish an identity of A&M football, and we're going on the road against a desperate Notre Dame team, top 10 team. I don't even know what the AP has them, but that is a top 10 team. You're doing it in South Bend. It's primetime game, right? So it's 7:30 kickoff. It doesn't really get much bigger than that. Like, I don't care if you play football for a million years, you're not going to get, I don't know why I sound mad. You're not going to get a ton of results that are more impactful than that. So let's win the game first.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I would vote it way up there, David. I don't know. I'd have to look at the Wikipedia page, but I'd vote it way up there.
2012 A&M at Alabama, obviously for me, is number one in my lifetime. I'm sure there's other ones. I think 94, they went to LSU and kicked that butt. But the last time A&M won a road game against a ranked team was 2014 South Carolina. So this year, that's why there's been hesitation with A&M from Aggies especially about this year. Can they be special? Yes, they can, but they've got to end that streak, and that needs to start this weekend.
Yeah, that's the talk and talk and talk. It happens for months. We do it. I'm not mad at it, but like one afternoon of football is worth more than 6 months of talking. So that goes for expectations too. 4 quarters of football, 3.5 hours on a Saturday evening. That's more important than what you've thought from January through August. And so you cannot overemphasize, you cannot overstate enough the value of that stuff. And really, a 4-quarter game, as we've learned throughout history, that's really going to come down to a couple of key drives, a couple of key decisions, which has always fascinated me about this sport. The guys' legacies are defined by a couple of moments, really, for most of them. A team, their destiny is going to be defined by a few key moments in games like these, and you spend your entire life, it feels like, getting ready for them. We spend our entire years talking about them, and that's why it feels the way it feels, because we don't play 162 of these games. We play 12 of them, and you don't even play 12 that feel like this one will feel Saturday. I hope everyone who can possibly get a ticket there, I hope everyone on the beat who could possibly secure a credential is going up there, because that is as special a place as you will ever visit. It is my number one favorite place to go in all of college football, is to go to, well, it's always a road game for me, but to go to a game at Notre Dame. And if you get the weather the way it should be, late summer, sort of early fall vibe, low humidity, oh man. David, you been there before?
Never. This will be my first time.
So just get there early, not to beat traffic, but just soak it in.
Yeah.
Look at the mixture of the maroon next to the green, just the colors on campus. It's unbelievable. It's like a movie. It's literally like being in a movie scene, which makes sense because they filmed them there before.
Josh, I think it's been a topic on this show, and it's been a topic on this show for a while, but more recently, I don't know why people struggle with talking good about Marcel Reed. They don't talk bad about Marcel Reed, don't get me wrong, but like there's rankings where he's 9th or 10th. Even this week I saw that in quarterbacks in the SEC, and like, I don't know, man. Like, I know he hasn't taken on, the quality of team of Michigan and Clemson LSU level. I get that. The guy's done everything right this year, and yet I don't think it's good enough for some people yet. And I think this weekend will change that if he has a really good game.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what he's done to most people because he hasn't faced a marquee opponent. Let's call it what it is. Most people haven't watched him play this year outside of A&M fans, and they will do that this weekend. So, like, you're right. That'll change this weekend. It goes back to what we were just talking about. Mateer got his shot last weekend, all right, and then he won. So now everyone's talking about him. Arch got his shot in week 1. He didn't win. Now, people are still talking about him, but they're talking about him negatively and zooming in on his face during warm-ups and all that stuff. So Marcel Reed gets his shot this weekend. Now, 3 things could happen, all right? The first is you just lose. The second thing is you could win, but you win with defense and a ground game, and Marcel Reed has 121 yards passing. The third is you win, and he is the face of the win. And if that third one happens, that's when you start talking about him on the national level. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything he could have done so far that would have warranted Sports Center highlight top 10 stuff, power rating type conversation. No one cares yet because no one's seen him play yet.
Well, as I feel like one of the biggest supporters of Marcel, I just look at other quarterbacks who also haven't played many teams. And, Austin Simmons, they did play Kentucky this past weekend. I'll give them that, and that's a great defense. But 4 interceptions. And Lenore's, to me, he is great. Hasn't looked as great as we expected so far, in my opinion. So, I just want people to recognize Marcel. And also, I do think that they're doing this, though. They are recognizing Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion. They are doing that.
How would you not? I was standing on, I guess we were at Oklahoma by that time. And certain people inside the Texas A&M football program started to light my phone up. And I'm thinking, oh, no, dude, they're not getting upset, are they? What's happening? This would be out of nowhere. And I look, and 3 sacks in a row, David.
Yeah.
3 sacks in a row. And you will remember about a month ago, I was doing a segment where we were just talking about breakout players. And I asked you, hey, I got a few different candidates here. Who would you go with breakout player? You said, no, go with Cassius. Just trust me, go with Cassius. So, ladies and gentlemen, I went with him, and Mr. Nuno here makes me look like a genius because then everybody remembers that video, and I'm banging the drum. Now, you guys had banged the drum, but
right.
Nationally, not many people were just shouting his name. And so I did it, and everybody thought I was a genius, and so I have to take this opportunity to commend my good friend here. Because I may have gone with Cassius. I may have gone elsewhere. And if I went elsewhere, it would have been a shame because that 3-sack game would have all been irrelevant. Because, David, if one of us doesn't get credit for the play on the field, does the play on the field really matter?
Right.
I would suggest not so much.
Well, part of the reason is the way he finished last season. And when you're amongst giants and you still shine, that tells me something when you're the guy.
Yeah. Well, so then if we look forward to get kind of serious for a second. If we look forward, I just watched Ruben Bain terrorize Notre Dame in week 1. And, you watch that tape and you say, oh, Notre Dame will be okay because there aren't a lot of those out there. And that's true. There aren't. But, they're going to face one this weekend. They're going to face a game wrecker, a disruptor, a guy you have to game plan around. Probably for their sake, a good thing that performance got put on tape so that they can wake their guys up and say, hey, this guy will embarrass you if you're not careful. So all the talk about Marcel Reed, all the talk about the running game, all the talk about Craver, all the talk about this and that, might we see him take this game over? I think a couple of years ago about Ohio State going to Penn State. Offense didn't do all that much, but I think they scored 21 defensive points or something like that because JT Tuimoloau just took the game over. He just wrecked the game up front. What if A&M gets a win Saturday and it's in that fashion where you got a guy defensively that they have no answer for, kind of like they had no answer for Ruben Bain, especially in the 3rd and 4th quarter. That was like men against boys in the 4th quarter, and it's not boys. Notre Dame is not that, and Bain made them look like that. So might we have a similar occurrence in the 4th quarter this Saturday?
So what worries me as an A&M follower, fan, analyst is that I don't think Notre Dame's going to have that same game plan, right? They're going to run way more, and I think they're going to do what they did last year with Riley Leonard, which is throw the ball quickly, right? That was Riley's game, but there was no chance for Nick Scordon and Shamar Turner and Shamar Stewart to get in the backfield because they got rid of the ball that quickly.
Yeah, so you got to earn the right to rush the passer, is what we're saying. We've said that before with A&M. Decade ago, we were saying that. You had a good pass rush a decade ago. Well, you got to earn the right to use it. So that's the name of the game. That should be the name of the game anytime anyone plays Notre Dame, by the way, or for that matter, anytime anyone plays A&M. They should never really get a shot at your quarterback because you ought to be 3rd and 2 all afternoon. So that's the great challenge. That's what you chew your team out at the end of last year for. It's what you work all spring and summer for, and you get to fall camp. It's to build a defensive front that can force a lot of 3rd and 5+ situations. Because if you can get them in that, I don't care if they're playing in Miami or playing in South Bend or playing on the Moon, you set yourself up to change the game. You set yourself up for your defense maybe to be able to win the game. But you got to get there first. Really doesn't matter if they're falling forward for 8 yards on 1st down consistently.
Talking to Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live. Josh, I'm going to give you a compliment here. It's a weird compliment to give you. You have a good walk. I'm watching these videos. Yeah, of you walking in Norman, and like when I walk, there's a little bit of a hunched look. You're walking, you got your sunglasses on. You're kind of walking in like you got a quality walk when you walk around Norman. How was that whole situation?
Wait, you got a hunch when you walk? Is it a spinal issue? What's going on?
I think I got a gangster lean, is what I call it. Yeah.
So it's not medical, it's
Yeah.
psychological.
I
Okay,
just,
all right.
I think it's a mindset. Growing up in the mean streets of Alief, Texas, I think it's just a mindset.
And so you don't think you were born with it, but you think that it was developed over time.
It was developed, and I've tried to fix it, right? But like, once you grow up in Alief, you can't get it out of your body, man. Like, and I grew up in like the Huxtable part of Alief. Like, it was nice, but it was still Alief.
Right. Okay, so it was very fun.
Yeah.
Norman was pretty incredible. We did Iowa State that morning. We went down to Norman for the Michigan game. Unbelievable. That was everything that those folks wanted that Tennessee game to be last year. And then Jackson Arnold and the offense goes off the rails. They bench him. Season's over. And it was really depressing. This was anything but that. And they got a guy who is a star in John Mateer. And if you think about it, David, if you think about all the things that happened in the game, if I were to have told you this Friday that OU is going to be -2 turnovers, they're going to have multiple critical special teams errors. They are going to, outside of the quarterback position, run the ball for like 3 yards per carry. Michigan's going to have an explosive touchdown run of 70-plus yards. That's an ingredient for an upset. And yet, not only did the upset not happen, Oklahoma was in charge of the game. Like, there was never a point where I thought they were in danger of losing the game. So that's a sign that, number one, you got a good win. Number two, you got a star quarterback on your hands. And number three, there's probably a lot of room to still scale up and grow. Now, as much as I was high on them in the preseason and got laughed at, now I'm the guy sitting here saying, hold on just a second. It's great to be excited, but it's one game. We don't know what Michigan is yet. Michigan could be an 8-4 team. You played them at home. You're going to have Auburn at home next week. You should beat them. It should be another game you win. But, buddy, that second half of the season is coming, and you're not getting through that unscathed. It's like running to your car when it's raining outside. You know you're going to get wet. It's how wet do you get? You just got to limit the saturation. So you got to limit how much damage that back half of the season can do to you by being undefeated once you get there. Now, you'll remember this. I told you I thought they would be undefeated going into the Red River Shootout. And I did not think Texas would be undefeated. Well, we're getting close. And I've got probably hundreds of replies bookmarked from people who called me all form of terrible names. They did not compliment how I walk, but they did criticize various other physical features of your boy here. And so I'm ready. Because they forgot to delete them. So I'm ready.
Hey, Josh, one other thing about that game. I think it was Peter Burns this morning talking about, I don't have the exact stat on Mateer, but when he faced the blitz, how efficient he was. And then you look at Bryce Underwood, he was 0 for 8 when he faced the blitz. That just, to me, boils down to the experience of a seasoned quarterback with his OC and a youngster trying to figure it out for the first time on the road in an SEC environment.
Yeah, well, Mateer's got an unfair advantage because he has guys to throw the ball to, and Bryce Underwood does not. So, outside of that, I think very highly of Bryce Underwood. I actually thought he represented himself pretty well, being a true freshman on the road facing Venables as his first real indoctrination into college football. He just has nobody to throw the ball to. So, I don't know, man. I've seen those comparisons. I stood there and watched the game. I don't even think it's fair to compare the two quarterbacks. One of them's got a ton of experience and a good receiving core. The other doesn't. I just think with Oklahoma, I mean, their fans got mad at me in the preseason, but they're quiet now. I feel validated in saying that's a 2026 team. 2025 is, mail the season in. I'm not saying they will, but you're going to view 2025 and you're going to say, wow, that quarterback could be great. We got to go get him receivers. Well, here we are. That's exactly what I think about them 2 weeks in.
Josh, great stuff, man. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, David.